Greetings, YouTube. The Republican attack on women, the war on women and their reproductive rights, has been waging for decades. And they've made a lot of headway recently. And one of the arguments I've heard from the Supreme Court itself was about the state's interest in a fetus. Which got me wondering, what is the state's interest in a fetus? Why does the state have an interest in a fetus? A fetus isn't a human being. It's a potential human being. But the woman that carries that potential human being has autonomy and agency. She's an existing human being with civil rights and human rights. Isn't that more important than a potential human? Why is the potential human more important than the existing human? Because that's what this comes down to. Social conservatives personally believe that the potential human is of more import than the existing human. And that's warped. Now, I despise social conservatism. I consider it to be a disease. It is a pox upon humanity, and it needs to be utterly eradicated. Social conservatives are dangerous. Social conservatism is at the base core of every piece of bigotry on the planet. Every single act of bigotry that has ever been enacted on this world has sprung from social conservatism. From someone deciding that they have the right to dictate how another person lives. Whether they have rights, whether they have civil liberties, whether they get to live or die, whether they get to be free or a slave. Right now, the Taliban has decided that women in Afghanistan cannot travel more than 45 miles unless they have a close male family member to escort them. That's an act of social conservatism. There's no reason to do that. None whatsoever. Other than that, the Taliban, which is a terrorist organization, would like to control the lives of women just because they can. Because they like to. And it's no different in America. We have the American Taliban. Social conservatism in America is just as much of a terrorist organization as it is in Afghanistan. And it's trying to do the exact same thing. Restrict a woman's right to control her own body. But I cannot fathom why the state has an interest in a fetus at all. We have enough people here. And if their population numbers started to go down, we just let more immigrants in. There is no danger of running out of people in this country. It's a big country. We could take a lot of people in. We don't need to force the growth. I know that most Americans who are subscribed to social conservatism are white folks. Not all of them, but a lot of them. The majority of them. And they're terrified that white people are going to disappear. Well, I'm not. I'm the whitest white boy that ever walked out of White Town, and I could care less if the entire goddamn Caucasian branch of humanity has just disappeared. What does it matter? Whether the humans are white or brown or yellow or red or black does not matter to me. As long as all of those humans have human rights and civil liberties, are treated equally under the law. And right now in America, we are attempting to enact laws that treat women as lesser, as second-class citizens, as incubators, as things. And apparently, the people in the Supreme Court are having their argument about whether the state has an interest in a fetus. And I can't figure out why they do. Why do you care about a fetus? In the past, we decided that 24 weeks was a mark. That's a good mark, I think. If you look at the development of a fetus to viability and to actual personhood, the number should probably be 32. But we'll go with 24. So, great. 24 weeks. Anything under that, a woman can have an abortion without question. No goddamn reason. Nobody needs to know why. It doesn't matter. It's her choice. That's what the standard should be. It should be safe. It should be available everywhere in America, in any state. It should be made sure that they're available in every metropolitan area. They should make sure that there are clinics that will provide abortions based on the population of the area. And they should be free as far as I'm concerned. I also think birth control should be free for anyone over the age of 13. Actually, over 12. 13 and up, you want a birth control? Throw it at them. Give them as much as they want. They did a study once where for every dollar they spent on birth control, they lowered the social costs by $5. A little bit more than $5. Why? Because the children that didn't come into existence were not a drain on the system. The mothers did not have to seek help from the government to take care of those kids because those kids didn't exist, because they had the right to control their reproduction. And it was a great program. It showed how much money it saves, and it let people decide when they wanted to have kids. And part of the whole reproductive rights is abortions. Safe, available, perfectly legal. That's what it should be. That if you're going to tell me that you consider the rights of a fetus as being more important than the rights of the woman carrying the fetus, you're wrong. You're immoral. Also, the argument that, well, what if that child would grow up and become this, the person that cures cancer? What about all the kids in America right now that are starving, that don't have shelter? What about all the immigrants that are not being allowed to come into America to get a safe education? Any of them could cure cancer, but social conservatives aren't worried about them now, are they? There are kids in America every single day that don't know if they're going to get to eat tomorrow, that don't have homes, that don't have access to medical care. Social conservatives don't care about them. All they care about is the potential human beings. And that's an interesting perspective. Why is a potential human being more important than an existing human being? And what potential interest, what possible interest could the state have in a fetus?